Okay, so today we are finishing up plants. We're doing the last couple of slides here to discuss hormones and tropisms in plants. Tropisms are going to be the fun part. But first, we need to look at hormones. And plants have hormones just like humans do. You know, we have different chemicals inside our bodies, depending on male and female, what hormones we have, that do certain things, that cause certain things to happen. All right. Hormones are chemical messengers. They send a signal for something to happen, depending on the hormone, what it's used for. For the plant, they're used to regulate growth and development, all right, produced in one part of the organism, and they stimulate or suppress activity, all right, which means they either stimulate, make something happen, or they suppress, they keep something from happening. Okay, so we got different hormones in the plant that's going to do different things, and we're going to look at those here right now. One of the main ones is ethylene. Ethylene is a hormone inside the plant that causes the fruits of the plant to ripen. All right, they have when that fruit develops, that apple, that orange, we got some lemons here, we got tomatoes. When they're growing on that tree and that they reach maturity, that piece of fruit reaches maturity, the plant secretes this hormone that causes that apple, for instance, to ripen. Because when it ripens, that's when it falls off the tree. It becomes seed for another apple tree. That's the process of reproduction there. For us, we pick those fruits and usually before they ripen, so that they don't fall on the ground, they don't get eaten by other things, but also so that we can keep them longer in the stores and in our homes when they're not ripe and turning mushy on us. All right, so we pick them before they ripen. Most of your fruits that you buy in a store, they've been picked really early so that they can ship them out, because they don't want them to ripen in shipment and then they'll be no good to sell when they get to the store. So they pick them early before they ripen, and then when they get to the store, or as they're shipped to the store, they spray them with ethylene so that by the time they get to the store, they're starting to ripen and they're ready to be eaten. And so when people buy them, they can eat them. They don't have to wait. They don't have to have fruit that's mushy or hard. It's going to be just right when you purchase it in the store. Gibberellins is another hormone that the plant has, and this is to produce size. It makes the plant grow. Certain plants need to have more growth than others. All right. You need to have more growth at certain times. For instance, when that embryo pops open after that dormant period, we want to have rapid growth right then because we want it to get to a seedling so it can start doing photosynthesis and care for itself as quick as possible. So this hormone, gibberellin, is produced in large quantity. As soon as that embryo pops out, it starts producing this hormone that makes it grow really, really fast. Okay, so it's rapid growth. The G in gibberellins, growth, G in growth, that works. Those two give you a little way to remember it there. All right. For instance, also this plant over here on the right, all right, it needs needs to get up above all the other stems and leaves and stalks that are there, so it has to have a larger size, all right, a lot more growth to get its pollen and its seeds up high to be sent out for reproduction. There's another reason we need growth for reproduction. Cytokines stimulate cytokinesis. Remember cytokinesis back from mitosis when that cell divides? Well, this hormone makes that happen faster. It makes mitosis go faster so that we can grow bigger, we can replace damaged parts, we can have more cells, in the plant. The more cells we have, the quicker we get them, the better off that plant is. All right. So there's several places this can happen: in the roots, in the seeds, in the fruits. You want this multiple or faster route of mitosis happening there, because we're talking about growth and reproduction. All right, those are the two main things for plants, two main purposes: to grow, to reproduce. All right, these are involved in lateral growth. If you look at these trees here, cytokines are responsible for all these limbs to grow outward. All right, that's lateral growth. That tree's going to grow straight up. That's the first stage of growth, straight up. Then it gets bigger. Well, nothing, until we have this hormone, nothing is pushing it out, away from the stem, away from the trunk of the tree. That's what these hormones do. They allow us to have this lateral growth where we got a lot of limbs shooting out all different directions. More limbs, more leaves, more photosynthesis. Yeah, you got more things happening there. Okay. So those are our main hormones. Now we're going to look at tropism. Tropism is a fun thing that plants do. It's movement of the plant in response to some kind of stimulus. All right. For the first one we look at here is phototropism. Photo means light. All right. And so this is the plant moving towards light, towards the sun. All right. So I've mentioned this before. Down here in the bottom of the slides, you got this whole field of sunflowers. They look like little satellite dishes sitting out there. And as the sun moves over, this whole field, that flower will turn. And it'll turn around, the leaves will turn around, and they'll turn to face whatever direction that sun is coming from. All right, that's phototropism, movement towards light. Okay. How that works. If you look at the picture in the middle here of the stem, we still have the same cells. We still, it doesn't add cells or move cells around. We got the same cells. They just get bigger and smaller. Okay. So we have another hormone, auxin, that build up inside of the cells on the shady side. So we got our sun over here on the right. So all the little blue dots you see are auxin. That's hormone. So when the sun is on the right over here, the plant knows I need to get that sunlight. The hormone is distributed more on these cells that are on the left side, the shaded side, causing those cells to swell and get bigger. Well, when they swell and get bigger, they push towards that sun. The other side, not as much hormone in there. Those cells they shrink down a little bit. They get smaller. That shrinking and swelling causes that plant to tilt one way or the other, because the cells on the shady side are getting bigger, the cells on the sun side are getting smaller, so it causes that stem to bend. Does the plant actually move? No, it doesn't. It's a response to the hormones filling up the cells, causing the cells to swell and shrink. All right. The second type of tropism is stigmotropism. This is a response to touch. We've talked about the Venus flytrap. You see it here on the right side of the slide, that when something crawls across it or lands on it, that touch causes that plant to close. It's not that plant is actually catching, eating, and killing these organisms, these insects. It's responding to a touch. If you stick your finger on there, it will close on your finger. All right, except we're strong enough to pull our finger back out of there. The fly that lands on there can't push it open. He's not big enough, not strong enough to push that back open and get out. We got a couple different examples, such as the plant here in the center, the vines. You got your ivy. Ivies grow, usually plant them, or even like you can look at grapevines and different types of vines. You plant them on something that has like a cable or a wire, because when they grow, when that stalk, that little branch is coming out, touches the wire, it feels it, it wraps itself around it. So as soon as it feels the touch of that wire, it wraps itself around it and then it keeps growing. That allows it to have some structure, some support. And they're hard to get off of them wires once they're on there. Now the last one down at the bottom, we've talked about this guy before. This is a mimosa plant. It responds to touch, so whenever something touches it, it shrivels up so that it looks like it's dead. You know, an animal doesn't want to eat it if it looks like it's dead. If it looks like this picture here on the left, when it's alive, oh man, that looks good, let's eat that. But as soon as something touches it, boom, it shrivels up, and that's a response to a stimuli. All right. Another one here, the picture up in the top left. This is an example of a plant that is growing in the direction because of an external feature like wind. Notice this tree is growing to the left. It's not growing up. It's not growing to the right. That just means that wherever this tree lives, there's a constant wind blowing from the right, causing that tree to grow the other direction. Seen this in Alaska. Took a trip to Alaska one year, and the tree trunks grow when they first come out of the ground. They grow sideways for about 2 or 3 feet, and then they grow up. That's a response because of the snowpack that's up there pushes those trees over, and so that's the direction they go. When the snow melts, then they can grow upward. So we have different things that affect it based on the touch portion of that plant. Gravitropism or geotropism. This has to do with the earth and the gravitational pull on the earth. All right. So the plant knows which direction is up. It doesn't matter how you have that plant. It knows which direction is up. All right. So positive gravitropism is downward growth. That's the roots. It's growing against gravity. It's growing downward. Negative gravitropism is growing upward. This is your stems and your leaves. They grow upward. All right. If you see this potted plant here that's been tipped over, normally that plant thinks, okay, roots go down into the soil to the right. Plant should go up out of the soil to the left. But that plant knows that that's not up. So as soon as it comes out of the ground, out of that soil, it's going to grow with gravity. Against gravity, it's going to grow upward. All right. You could turn this upside down completely. The plant would come out of the pot, wrap around the side, and go back up the pot towards the top, towards the sun. All right. Plants know they know where what gravity is. They have that internal feature that allows them to grow with gravity. The last one is photoperiodism. All right. This is the plant's response to the changing length of a day. All right, day and night. Plants know when winter's coming. They know when summer's here. They know when fall is here. Kind of like we do. We know it because the days get longer or shorter in certain times of the year. Well, plants know that. Plants know that when the days are starting to get longer, like they are right now, that's the time to start growing, to put flowers on, to reproduce, to make fruit. That's what they do in the springtime because the days are getting longer. Between now and the end of June, these are your longest days of the year. Once we hit June, it starts to decrease a little bit back down till we get to fall. And that's when plants know we hit fall. Plants know that we're about to go into winter time. This is the time that I need to start preparing for winter. That's when we start to see the leaves change color, fall off the tree. The trees start to go dormant because they don't want to have any flowers out or fruit on them in the wintertime because that will damage the plant. Okay, so the plant responds here to the changing length of day based on how long the day is, how long the night is, what they should do and when they should do it. All right. So that pretty much takes care of all of our notes for plants. If you have any questions, make sure come to the conference each morning, ask your questions, or send me an email. Check out on the discussion page. You can throw your question on there and I can answer it there. But we want to make sure that we know everything that's here and everything is we don't have any questions before we hit the quiz day next Monday. All right. Talk to y'all again later.